guys, my name's Nathan Masters. I run this channel called Brick System Brothers with my brother Josh. And now I'm back home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So Thanksgiving just a couple days ago. This is our kind of recap video for the month of November. Just talk about what we covered on the channel and maybe cover a few things, just adding extra detail. So yeah, a little footnotes video. Done this pretty much all year. And just talk about kind of what we published and where we're going with the channel. What I like to do, don't really know if Josh wants to jump in and do a little more content. A lot of what we've done, of what he's done recently, has been stuff we just recorded and had to put out as time allowed. So now that I'm back, we should be able to do some more videos with both of us together, working on stuff, builds, mocks, reviews. I don't really know. We'll see what happens. I do have this whole month now that I'm done with school. So that's another thing I kind of want to do coming up, is just kind of do a little bit of a profile review of where we're at, just for me, so it'd be an individual video for myself, one for Josh, and then we'll probably also try to produce a channel trailer, more of an official channel trailer, because for the past, at one point I made like a 30-second intro, and that was kind of the default channel trailer, and then I redid our intro, and the trailer has just been a recent video that I thought was a good introduction to the channel. So I've been talking with Josh a little bit about that and kind of thinking that's something we'd want to do. But yeah, this month, November 2020, actually our highest video production by volume. Just the number of videos produced I think is about 30 total. And a lot of that is related to the set announcements. So the 2021 releases and images start to get published about this time, and you go back a year on our channel, we were kind of seeing the first time around that we had done that, just trying to cover a lot of bases, and I think this year it went a little better. Myself, I chose to kind of zero in on certain aspects of a theme instead of just a blanket video for the whole city theme 2021. That's what I did last year. This past month, I decided to do a video looking specifically at the new road system, which is going to be released as a standalone starter pack, and then the system is also used in 3 of the new city sets that we know of so far. And I see this kind of being a standard for the next several years, as LEGO's trying to phase out the base plate, which is a very thin style of plate. I've got a couple behind me. So the base plate is a very kind of a thin, is vacuum formed, so it's slightly different. The top is in system because you can build on the studs, but it is flexible. It's a much thinner actual deal along the bottom. So if you have one building on a base plate, then you kind of need to have your whole city on base plates for everything to be at the same level. But the road base plates are based on an actual thickness of a plate, which is 1/3 of a brick height. So that's a little bit more in system. You can actually build stuff into the bottom of that. You can incorporate 2 additional plates on the top to get to your brick thickness, and it kind of levels the playing field in terms of how you can build that into the structure of a city. The other thing they did was they added ramps on the sides so that you don't need 100% base plate coverage for a city. You just have this area in front of a building or a street, and then when that kind of gets to the end, your cars will drive off the ramp and you can have back onto a regular surface. So I talked about that in pretty good detail, and that was one of our best performing videos ever, just in the first couple of days. So that was kind of a good sign. That was encouraging to me as well to see, kind of taking that down a track that people are interested in. Hopefully that can continue to happen. And just sharing my thoughts on, from an AFOL perspective. It's not necessarily in the target market of that. What does that mean for me, where LEGO is my hobby instead of a toy to keep me occupied? So kind of coming from that perspective. And that's the kind of thing that I don't know where Josh is at with what he wants to share. So we'll see what he does this month, upcoming in December. I know one of the main things I'm going to be doing is working through the bulk lot. And that was actually back in October I talked about this. I purchased about 80 pounds of LEGO knockoff stuff and junk all mixed together in 2 big bins. I went through that and got out all the junk, so I got it down to just LEGO in the bins. I need to wash those and start sorting and kind of doing my inventory process. So I want to do that this month of December upcoming, and try to cover, the general process of that as I go along, and kind of have a video log start to finish of what it takes for me to work through what I call a job lot, where the job lot is there's a little bit more work to invest in between where you buy the Lego and you have Lego that's ready to build sorted into your system. So yeah, that's coming up in December. I've actually got that one job lot that I talked about that was really dirty. A lot of that does need a good scrub before I can actually get into it. And then I also picked up some more bulk right at the end of the month, and I haven't covered any of that. There's no footage on that out yet. So I'll probably talk about that coming up as well. So yeah, set releases was a big part of our 30 videos. The other stuff that was out, I actually talked about a hobby store, JCD and Hobby, and the pieces I got there. The part of that I didn't cover that I wanted to mention here in the footnotes is when you start listing this stuff on Rubricable, and that's the way that I keep track of my inventory a lot of times as I go and put it on Rubricable, it will give you a value based on the past 6 months sales on Bricklink, but what that does is it gives you the value for a new part. And pretty much all the stuff I buy from the hobby store is in used condition. So to try to kind of balance that out, I usually just say the value of these used parts collectively is about half of what Rubricable says the value is for them new. And I feel like that would probably be a pretty good average, but you start looking at the specific pieces that I ended up picking up at the hobby store, and Rubricable was saying if I had all these pieces new, it would be worth about $400. Even accounting for half the value for the used pieces, that's still $200 worth of Lego that I got for 20 bucks. So that was kind of interesting. I think I might have to do some additional remarks on that, and that is 100% related to the specific pieces I bought, because I didn't go in and just get a scoop of random pieces from the tubs. They have it all color sorted, so I can go through each tub by color, kind of know what I'm looking for, just the pieces out of the ordinary that you don't really see day to day in Lego sets. So maybe they're in only a couple sets, and that's what's keeping the value up. Maybe they've been released recently, so that market value is still pretty high, even for a used part. So kind of a combination of those two main factors and several other things, I'm sure, contribute to these pieces being harder to find. And another big factor is here in Iowa, and the hobby stores in central Iowa, there is not I don't think there's as much demand, just in terms of like the people on my end that are in the hobby from my point of perspective that are going to specifically find these pieces at the hobby store. So they're not going there to dig through and get a $20 bin of these kind of harder to find pieces. I think they're either going to find one or two that they really need, and that happened while I was there. You can go buy a couple pieces for $0.25. It's pretty cool. Or they're just going to get a handful or a scoop out of the buckets and just get some bulk Lego. So if I'm in the minority of people going through these bins, and really, I'm spending 3 hours there minimum to fill up a $20 tub, it's about 800 pieces of these harder to find kind of uncommon elements, then there's going to be more for me to collect, just kind of by that follows. So just bringing that all into perspective, I might have to go back and look at some of that, but I did want to mention it here in case I don't. We also looked at what are some of the sales at Walmart. So Josh and I are both in that one. That was on our way out of town, moving back home from Ames, where I went to college. And there's, interestingly enough, this was before Black Friday, a bunch of stuff was still in the Lego aisle, but it was marked down about 20%. So a $50 set was marked down to $40, and there were a bunch of those, like, started at $50 marked down. And then probably one of the best ones, I ended up buying some of these 11011 classic 1,500 piece boxes. These were $30, marked down from $40, I think. And this is 1,500 pieces, like I mentioned, for $30. That works out to 2 cents a piece for new Lego, like out of the box new Lego, not even from Bricklink, previously opened. So the inventory here on the side, really showing kind of what you get. This is a recent set, so like 2020, there are 3 or 4 elements in here that are currently exclusive still to this creator build pack. And even the ones that aren't exclusive are pretty good building material. So all these elements right here are teal. This is our 107 teal color that's been kind of brought back into the mix. one of our 1x2, really small, some detail, white building detail plates. So not all of these pieces are really highly desirable, but to get all of these new for 2 cents a piece is kind of remarkable to me. And I thought I might as well go ahead and pick up these boxes of pieces at that price while I can, and if nothing else, I can at least make twice that money back on Bricklink selling, if I take the time to get a store set up. But I don't think I'm going to be selling. I'm going to open at least one of these, because to get this kind of volume for that price was interesting. It wasn't even a Black Friday sale. It was just out in the middle of the aisle. So I grabbed a clip of that, what that looked like on the pallet out there, and with the price next to a Duplo set. But yeah, this kind of stuff, I don't care too much for the 1x1 printed eyes, but the medium blue headlight brick caught my eye. Check your Walmart and see if this is going on there as well, because I doubt you will ever see, probably very rarely see Lego new in the box for 2 cents a piece. It was pretty surprising that was out, that was available. So yeah, I'm back home. I'm back with most of my Lego collection. I think it's all here actually now that I moved out. So I have access now to all the pieces. For the past couple months I've been at school and didn't have a lot of my inventory with me. So looking at doing more hold up what's that awesome piece for the playlist. I'm actually thinking of breaking that into seasons. So trying to figure out, maybe 20 videos is good for a season, 15 videos, somewhere in there. We just did number 15, so I think it'll make it 20. And possibly doing more of those per month. And of course getting back into mock buildings and projects, because that's what I haven't been doing as much of. Even on the digital side of things, a lot of what I've been doing is either just stocking up, buying bulk stuff, or trying to do a little bit of inventory on the Rubricable side. So those were some of the November videos, using Rubricable to create a database, using Digital Designer to create a parts list. I looked into detail on that a little more. This was stuff that I kind of was aware of that it existed, but I hadn't really used it. And as comments were coming in on my tutorial video, comments were coming in on that, like how do I make a parts list? What are other ways I can use the software? I've been looking in more and more into what you can do with Digital Designer. So I do want to continue doing those as well. I have a separate playlist, LDD and studio tutorials for this year. Probably do a few more of those to wrap up 2020. Moving into 2021. So there's some footnotes for the month. We just passed 600 subscribers, so thank you to everybody coming in that is new to the channel. Thank you for your support. Glad that you like what we're doing so far, and we want to continue to do that. So as always, drop suggestions down below. I do check comments pretty much daily, and now that I'm working it will be in the evenings, so not quite as often as I have been. But want to be involved with the community here on the channel, Brick System Brothers. And we're getting close to our 300 video mark again. So we did, earlier in the summer, we did a special for 200 videos, ramped up production through fall semester, and now 30 videos this past month. If we keep up the pace, and we're probably going to drop back to, we've got our Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so we're going to try to keep that up. But that's still 3 a week, so we will probably be hitting 300 within the year. We'll do another special for that. Still have to decide what exactly that's going to look like. For 200, we just kind of looked back at our previous videos, and Josh and I both picked some of our top 3 and talked through that a little bit. The thing that was interesting about that was kind of to see how the production quality has changed. As I bought a new phone, so the Pixel has a better camera than the Samsung S5, just a matter of the years between production. I started using a microphone through Audacity to cut out the audio. I'm not doing that in this video because this is just for end of the month stuff, but for a lot of the new set reviews, and especially if I'm already sitting at the computer to do that kind of thing, it's just one other thing to add in where I'm just running the audio through, and then I just have to line that up in my video editor. So yeah, interesting to see how that production quality changed since January 5th, 2019 when we started. Um, January 2021 means we're coming up on our 2-year channel anniversary as well. So really in the next month and a half, we're going to be hitting our 300th video, our channel 2-year anniversary. I want to do the updated video trailer. I want to do profile videos for Josh and myself. And Josh is on board with that, I think. And possibly we'll be hitting our 1,000 subscriber. At least we'll be in the vicinity within a couple months, because we're at the point where the momentum is starting to build a little bit. So the time it took to go from 400 to 500 is longer than the time it's taken to go 500 to 600. A lot of that is actually related to the road video that I mentioned earlier, where that was bringing in a lot of views and a lot of subs as well. So yeah, pretty cool stuff going on, Brick System Brothers. And if you're still here watching, you're the real MVP. Thanks for sticking it out. I do tend to ramble, working on that, but also I know like a couple of the people that I know that watch this do enjoy it. So I won't cut out too much for you guys. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. And we've got a lot more stuff coming up next month and a half into 2021. We'll see you guys again. I'll do our final footnotes for 2020 at the end of December, and probably keep it up through 2021. Might change the format slightly. Announcement for our bingo game that's kind of going on, depending on when the video gets released. But I think I am going to put a pause on that just because it's not working out quite as nice as I thought it would, as I wanted it to. So maybe take that in a new direction, maybe just let it sit for a little while. But in any case, that about brings everybody up to speed. This was supposed to be in the What's at Walmart video, so I wanted to bring that in and mention that for a little bit. If I get this opened up, I'll probably do a separate video about it, but no guarantees. There's plenty of other stuff to cover coming up. I've already got like 3 or 4 videos in the backlog to publish in December, so they're coming out. And if you've been paying attention, actually right behind me is where my Lego City has been for the past 7 years, and it's no longer there. All will be explained. Just be patient. It's coming up on the channel. We'll see you guys later on Brick System Brothers.